Hello. I want to demonstrate a capability that I'm busy adding to CCM that allows for dynamic discovery of services across the network. As I mentioned before, CCM is kind of focused on ad hoc infrastructure at the moment. That's where I'm focusing on. But even in this ad hoc infrastructure, I still want to maybe have a Prometheus that gathers all the data that's available, if ever a Prometheus capable machine starts. And so in Puppet World, you would have to do exported resources from the service side, service manifest, and then that exported resource will create a Prometheus monitoring target. But that implies a few things. On the service, you know all the places where this data will be used, and it's stale immediately because you don't know whether the service is still up or valid once it's been made into the Puppet database. And so designs like ETC-based systems avoid that because they are based on the reality. And so that's what I'm going to show you here also. So here we install a very basic service, binary in the systemd file, and then we start the systemd service. Now at this point, this is normal Puppet stuff, so you would recognize that. But where CCM goes a little bit further, we can have a number of health checks, and so when it's bringing the service up, it will also check that the service is actually responding with valid data. And it also has a multiple run mode. So you've got a normal run mode that just configures machines, and then you've got no op run mode, which is familiar to Puppet users. Then you have a health check only run mode where it can only do these health checks very quickly, very frequently, and so you'll always know whether the service is up. Now what I'm busy adding now is that when the service is healthy, I'm registering the fact that this service exists into a service registry. And so we go, this is a dev clusters, my echo service, this potentially EPV, which IP address, which port, etc. And this demo is going to focus on the Prometheus side. So here I'm saying there is a Prometheus port listening. I'm not saying what format the data going in, it's a standard format, and anything else can query it out. We'll see that in a minute. And so when CCM runs, it will do the health check and it will register this machine as having these ports available. Now if I go in here and I do a query against my registration database, we can see there's currently no machines registered. And if I generate my Prometheus targets, there's no targets because there's no machines in the registry. If I now start one, I can query the registry and we see we've got the HTTP port up and we've got the Prometheus port, and so I can do like all clusters HTTP Prometheus, and that is all the Prometheus ports that's currently listening on the network. I can start two more. And now I have all three. So I'm going to stop one of these first. It will go away after like a minute and a half. The registration goes into NAT's JetStream, and JetStream will expect a new registration entry every 1 minute. You can configure it, but I chose 1 minute here. And so if the entry has been on the stream for more than a minute and a half, it'll be removed. And so you can see that we're seeing updates coming in, and that is as CCM is running through the health check only modes, it's doing, it's getting updates. Let me quickly show the agent configuration. So we're doing a 30-minute interval full run. So that's a full mode run. It will actually verify every file, everything. But we're only doing health checks every minute. And so every minute that it runs, and that the health is healthy, it will register with Jetstream the fact that that exists. And so you can see here updates are coming in, and soon it should be any time now. We'll see that the service that I stopped is going to age out of the registration database. So here we can see it's gone out due to max age. And if I queue them, see there's only 2. Now I can apply a manifest that generates the Prometheus targets, and you get that. I can show you how that looks. It's just a jet template, and we just basically do a query of the Prometheus, and then we format the data. I'm probably going to put a helper into CCM itself to format Prometheus data because it's quite common. But really, in any template, you can just go query the registration data and do whatever you want with it. And so, in this way, your exporting side doesn't need to know the resources. There's no coupling between these two. It puts data into a store, and all that you're doing is using the data in however you see fit. And so, if you want to do 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 related stuff using the registration data, you don't need to go back to the service and then update that service manifest to export these resources. That's the wrong way to do it. And so I think this is a easier to comprehend and use model. And if we query over here, we can see the 2. I can get this data also in JSON format. So there's my registration data. So you can see you can use this just anywhere you want. It's just data. If I go to my Prometheus here, let's see. We can see that. Hello. There's two targets currently up. If I start my 3rd one and I regenerate my configuration, obviously you would run this in a kind of a agent or something that continuously recreate the configuration. If we go back to Prometheus, we'll see all 3 is there. I have a few things to add. I want to, for instance, have a file resource watch the registration so that it reacts in real time to machines coming and going, rather than you having to apply it or maybe wait for an agent interval to hit. That should give us even a faster feedback loop through this dynamic infrastructure. But the point is, this is a start. This should be out in the next release of CCM, and from there on you will be able to do. We also have a Go library for accessing this data. So really, you can do anything with the data once you have it. And as you can see, this is accessible even on the command line. So if we look at this manifest, it's kind of optional. So I can do CCM, ensure, file, this one, content, I can stick this in there. And if we look at the file, it's stable. So even on the command line, you have access to the registration data. So if you could just stick this into a cron, you're going to have a dynamically updating infrastructure built. And so this really goes back to the promise that I make that the core features of CCM is going to be accessible from a CLI single command all the way up to agents, manifests, programmable APIs, all this kind of stuff. And we can see this is really easy thing to use even on just CLI stuff. Yeah, that's about it. This will be available in the next release of CCN, which will be out in a couple of days. I have a few things to sort out. But yeah, just wanted to show what's coming. Thank you.